we got yelling in the light. Whispers in the dark.
Oh, man, what a cool bit that we just did.
This is such a great bit. We're in the dark.
Yeah, and we're whispering. You see how we did that?
Wow, we're so original.
We're like artists.
This song was choreographed in 2008, I think, or at least before that. It's from the AIM Delaware team, and we don't have many other stats of who choreographed it otherwise. But
yeah, I don't know a whole lot about this song, but
it's still part of. It's a Skillet song, so we're doing another Skillet song.
Yeah, welcome to Skillet's November.
It has nothing to do with November, but it's just anyway. I'd say let's do it. Let's just get into it. This music is so hype, and I love it.
I was gonna say like that. I just love this song. So this is a classic Skillet song.
I also love when there's not much movement before, when the quiet music comes in.
Yeah, it was also nice for like timing because then you can hit cues a lot easier if there's not a lot beforehand.
Yeah, reject those people who are worshiping God. Also, shout out, this is basically in the light version. Starts in this pose, rejects God, does drugs. I mean, that's a very classic Skillet song as far as mime choreography and Skillet.
Yep.
I also just love the generic NPCs in the background that just there's nothing against the actors.
NPC.
We normally don't tell them to do much because we're focusing on the main stuff, and so they end up just like keep doing it back and forth.
Yep. And here enters demons because every Skillet song has to have demons.
So far, we're 3 for 3.
Yeah.
And then angels kick the demon's butt randomly for a second, then they leave for some reason.
Yep. They come in and attack and then leave.
I think it makes sense with the nose. It is interesting that the whispers in the dark, the metaphor is like Jesus calling out to us in the midst of our sin, and so I appreciate that. I think it's lost because sometimes there's just too much noise. All right, classic bullying. We also have bullying show up in like 2 out of 3 of our Skillet songs.
Yep.
Now this one's less on the persecution side and more on the just generic bullying side.
Yep.
But that's another one of those like, why did we throw that in here? Feels like a second act blues moment.
Yeah, it feels like they didn't know what to do, so they threw in something that felt like, okay, so they have their own personal oppression in the first act, and the second act they're being oppressed by others.
And because the course repeats, we have to have the cycle of demons and angels twice.
Also, the way the angels do beat.
Yeah, that
looks
is pretty
cool.
That is pretty cool.
I don't know how necessary it is, but it looks cool.
It's also interesting that the demons have to keep putting on their hoods. And then Jesus on the cross, because reasons. Yeah, we'll get into it in the critiques, but there's a question mark about the connection of demons and Jesus' cross and just throwing it in there and why.
Oh yeah, and this is one of the early songs that actually put Jesus on the ground to crucify
Oh man,
him.
yeah. Classic. When we had to do this the cool mime technique way.
Yep. I do like the staging here with the emphasis of the main, most downstage to emphasize this character, because it's like, oh yeah, this is still the main, recognizing things, and all the extras up here are still looking up, so it kind of draws the eye away. I do like the staging.
You don't mind the crowd blocking Jesus when he's being crucified? Because you kind of just barely see the guards, but I'm not opposed to it. It's just this...
I feel like it's a weird combination of things. The crucifying him on the ground and also the crowd crowding around him. Each of those individually are good, but together, yeah, they're a little bit weird.
And then Satan ties up the main. Because reasons.
And then we get this epic moment at the end.
Yeah, we recognize it's probably a practice video, so
yeah,
it's not perfect, but we're critiquing the song, not the the actors.
Yeah.
The NPCs.
Yep.
Sorry if you're one of those
wrong.
3 people watching it. You're more than an NPC.
You're more than an NPC to me. NPC gang in the comments.
If you're a bot.
If you're a bot, give me your link to your scam below. Wait, no.
So anyway, purpose of message.
This is a song about how it's dark in our lives and that Jesus whispers to us.
I mean, it's a generic song about Jesus being the answer to our problems.
Yeah, more or less. So,
and the generic problems of drugs, alcohol, smoking, and bullying.
Yeah, it emphasizes the internal and the external problems, which I think that was on purpose, but it can get a little bit weird of like, well, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And then of course Jesus is the answer. And there's demon oppression, stuff like that, because it's a skillet song, but then what cleanses us of our affliction is Jesus.
Yeah. Nope. I don't have much to add to that. That is its purpose. Is like he is reaching out to us in our darkness, which is a great opening of a lineup kind of song where it's epic, it's big, it's flashy. It used to be a lot cooler because people knew the song, especially in church youth groups. So people are like, yeah, these people are so cool. They're telling me the gospel with Skillet. And that might have gone down over time. I don't know. Maybe if we did a more modern Skillet song, people would feel the same way. Or maybe it would just be millennials who feel the same way. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with doing songs that are popular of their time and then not doing them anymore because they're no longer popular. I think there's something to be said about keeping up with new music in order to just be more eye-catchy because it's modern.
Yeah, no, and we've talked about that, of like what we want to do in the going forward in Mime, and we're thinking of taking straight up ripping the choreography
Forgiven.
from old songs.
We
and
don't need
putting
an
it on-
80s song anymore, just putting it to a song that's modern.
Yeah, just literally
40
the
years
same
younger.
choreography and putting it on a song that was written within the last decade.
Even this millennia would help, but
Yeah.
But I mean, because we use a lot of the tropes, and it's a perfectly good song. It has its place and purpose. Just it's dated itself.
Yeah, and so it would be good to find another type of song similar to this that follows these same tropes and do that. And I think totally valid.
And its purpose, it's Jesus reaching out to us in the darkness, in the midst of it. And as we get into the positives, that's probably my biggest critique of it. It shows the chaos of sin that the person gets themselves into, and that their choices have led them to this, but yet God still reaches out to them and has the power, and especially the power of the angels, because angels are not weak sissies. They are but archangels are going to destroy people.
They do explosives with these guns.
Read about angels, like the ones destroying Sodom and Gomorrah. Was that just 2 angels? Like, I know we only have 2 that are there, but it seems like there's not very many angels that it takes to destroy an entire city. Yeah, angels are epic, and I like that. This song helps that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Positives.
Other positives, like I honestly do like, there's several staging aspects in there that I highlighted that I think are really artful. I like the way that even though the trope of like demons circling around somebody is pretty common, there is kind of like the artful nature of things in it. I feel like a lot of the flow of it, it's not static, it's very dynamic.
Oh, this song has so much energy, and I love that.
Yeah, I love that about it. I think that's probably its biggest positive. Other things I like, the very final scene with Jesus kind of coming back from the dead and that kind of being the answer. I'll get into it in critiques of why I think that's weirdly placed, but that in and of itself, looking at the choreography, I think it is really solid, except for maybe the like crowding around and also Jesus being on the ground. I feel like pick one or the other. Yeah, I think there's lots of good staging and stuff like that. The message, I feel like, is pretty clear.
I think you get it at the end where the person was tied up because of their sins by Satan, and that Jesus has the power to deliver us from the evil. Yeah. So there's that.
So I'll give it a positive on message being pretty clear, because you get the affliction and then you get Jesus as the answer. That message gets across, even if you might not get it at one particular point or another. By the end, you'll figure it out, and the thing as a whole makes sense when you really you come away with it knowing what it's talking about.
Yeah.
Whether
the clarity,
wherever you came,
it's really funny how the clarity works here.
Yeah.
You get the whole big picture because it's a simple message, but then you're like, what was that? The song is more of an experience than it is like a theological treatise. It's not like here's everything that you need to know. It's like, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, it's a real vibe song.
Yeah, it's a vibey song. Right. But as we get to critiques, that is my critique, where there are things that are just kind of sprinkled in here. So my two big critiques: the second and a half act blues. So
second and a half.
So second verse feels super random. Why are we doing this bullying scene? And it seems disconnected from the person's own choices of choosing the darkness, because we kind of established that at the beginning, where the person left God, whether that's a real person, like a character, like a true character, or just an archetype. They left God, they chose sin, and now they're are bullies that run. I don't know. It just feels like we've lost track. And then my second and a half act blues would be like the chorus, where the chorus, because it repeats, you do the same thing twice in the first chorus and do the same thing twice in the second. And that's like 4 iterations of the same dang thing, where there are demons and angels. And I get why why it works and why that's true. I just feel like we could use that. Probably the first chorus and the second verse need the overhaul, and let the second chorus remain where that's the chaos that's ensued or comes, but God saves them anyway. But like, let the second chorus be a lot more about the person making other bad choices. That way you can get like 3 distinct choices that they make, God reaching out in all of them and being rejected. The chaos ensues and God saves them. I feel like that would be a clear story arc rather than following
might structure it a little bit more clearly.
But we've talked about this. Music theory, you're like, it goes up and down because you're like, yeah, we write the chorus and then the verse, chill us out. And then we write the chorus and then we chill out. And then we do a bridge that's a little bit more exciting and then we chill in it in the song. That's music. Plot lines need to have better like straight arcs where you don't drop down in emotions. The chorus can't be your like chill time. It has to keep developing. So keep that story arc going.
Yeah.
That'd be that would be my one critique. The other part would be the theological ideas of like, okay, you know, I'll save that for theology.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, for me, I mean, I agree by and large with that. The things that I would say, like for my critiques, is like some of it just feels really unnecessary. Mm-hmm. I feel like you could add a lot more nuance. You know, we talked last week about like nuance being really difficult to show.
No, you have room to add nuance,
but you have room to add nuance, and there's a certain like threshold of nuance that you can reach, and I feel like this one didn't reach it, because it ends up being just bad things happen, demon affliction. Mm-hmm. Jesus is the answer. Yeah, there's a lot more that
sprinkle demons in because.
Yeah, just because demons, and the answer is because Jesus. You know? Mm-hmm. So
that is the song.
That is the song. This song does struggle from that issue. So I totally agree with you on that one. I feel like it would be a lot better if certain things made more sense when viewing things through nuance. So I look at like the angels being overpowering and stuff like that. That's not really emphasized. I look at the affliction being put onto the person making more sense. Like it's kind of just, you get it. And so I can't really count it off that much.
Like I'd almost want them to get tied up as they're doing each thing so that you can see the oppression. Like they choose sin, they get bound to it, they get addicted or so whatever.
There's more progression toward that. I feel like that would solve a lot of my
Satan tying up the main at the very end just feels super arbitrary. Like he just killed Jesus and then tie her up. Like tie her up first and then kill Jesus or something like that.
Yeah, throughout the whole thing, maybe like something could be tied up, like one arm tied behind her back, and then the other arm tied behind her back or something like that. And then by the end, she's trying to, reason with the crowd that's going on there and seeing Jesus, but then she's bound and she gets sad or something like that. Something to progress it. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. But like the idea is
some style ideas out here.
The idea is that there's some type of progression to push forward that oppression.
Yep.
To make sensation. I was trying to get something with that.
Yeah, anyway.
Anyways.
Yeah, that staging we already talked about with Jesus on the cross and the crowd. Like it looks kind of cool because it almost makes it so that the guards are coming out, and so I feel like there's something there that you could do that'd be super cool. Might need to play around some staging. I don't know. Just thinking.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if there was like a layered stage and you put Jesus on top there, and then had the crowd kind of like go down a bit so you can kind of see things a bit more clearly, but they still got, I don't know.
It was part of why we stopped putting Jesus on the ground was just because the audience can't see, especially on flat stages. So that's just the way of doing ministry when you're doing these on public other people's stages. It's just easier to have them stand up all the time. Yeah, and so you can absolutely pull off the Jesus on the ground, but it has to be deliberately choreographed so that way people can see it. It's very open. You can. You have some limitations on what you can do with the stage. Yeah, you got to get people out of the way. Yep, and so. I feel like this could have been better if Jesus was just standing. Most stages aren't that deep. And if Jesus is anywhere close to 6 feet tall, that's like 7 feet they have to clear in order to make this work. Because the guards have to get behind him, which and you saw in this one where the guards are like against the wall trying to get Jesus back up. No, their ball. It's just, it takes a lot of room. Yeah. Theologically. So throw this out here. In theology, we have this question about what did salvation accomplish? What were we saved from? We were saved from our sins. Well, what's the problem with the sins? The one side would say that our sins were paid to God, that we had an offense against him. And so when we are saved from the wrath of God. But then the question the other half would be like, what about Satan? What in this is like, is there something that is Satan's territory in this? So I don't know if you'd have any comments with this song, because it definitely feels like this is just about God versus Satan, and Satan had all the authority and all the power, and the cross delivered us from Satan. but has nothing about the idea of delivering us from the wrath of God.
I feel like I agree with you on that. Like I'm more theologically on the side of sins paid propitiation
to God.
Yeah. Like the point was that you satisfy the wrath of God against us because he would be completely justified in just destroying every human being for their sins. But the fact that he didn't shows us forbearance. So you can get into the whole theology there. Long story short, by Jesus dying, we don't have to die.
Right, but then there's this piece about what is Satan's role in
Satan
this,
do?
right? We see in Matthew that he seems to have power and dominion over the earth, where he says to Jesus, I will give you all this if you bow down and worship me. And Jesus is like, no, that's not yours, that's my dad's. He's like, no, and doesn't affirm or deny that. And then later he says, all authority has been given to me, assuming that his cross did something where he gained authority that wasn't his, he stole away what was Satan's. You see this also in the binding of the strong man parable. So there's something in the sense
there's a talk about how Jesus descended to death in Hades and took the keys.
Yeah,
that means that he didn't have the keys at one point.
Right, which is uncomfortable if God didn't have the keys to the car.
To the car.
The sovereignty car. You have Audi, you have Lexus, and now you have sovereignty.
And you have the Accord, because Jesus and his disciples were all in one Accord.
Shout out to my Honda 91 Accord. Missed you.
Honda gang in the comments. But anyways.
So anyway, I just feel like that theologically this focuses so much on Satan that it can always feel like, I don't know, something theologically is missing. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that emphasizing it without emphasizing the Father and that what sin accomplished. I know we can make it a little bit more about too much about Satan sometimes.
Yeah,
and because demons. And then finally, the cross just feels thrown in there rather than how does a guy dying 2,000 years ago actually make a difference here? We claim that it does, and we show in the song that there's power of it. It just doesn't actually connect of why it matters.
Yeah, and that's once again the nuance issue of it does connect. This is our problem and our solution. I totally agree, 100%.
Yeah.
That when we have real life issues of temptations and afflictions or whatever, our solution is Jesus. The problem is that in a mime song, there's a lot of nuance that's missed that needs to be injected, or just change it to make a little bit more sense.
Show me the Holy Spirit's delivering power from sin. Show me that, I don't know, the cross didn't just make evil go away, because we always show him die on the cross and then demons die. Demons still run the earth, right? That's a thing that we believe.
Yeah, that's part of the issue that's going on.
Right, and that also my problems aren't because demons are Satan. They're because of me. I'm dumb. I'm the sinner. Sorry.
Amen.
I'm the problem. So that would be
I'm the problem, it's me.
Thank you.
It's Taylor Swift reference. Anyway.
It's a good song.
Anyways.
Track 3? Question mark? I can't remember that. The album's my low tier Midnight's album, so I don't it's track 2 or 3, I don't remember. Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
All Taylor Swift albums are low tier.
So anyway. My favorite Taylor Swift is Taylor Swift. Clarity. Difficulty. Style. Oh, sorry. Style. Do we need to turn off the lights again? How about I just close my eyes? Oh, it's dark.
Editor Charleton, just turn the video so it's just a black screen for a little bit. So
no, you don't. Just can you just fade the? Just actually put us in black and white.
I guess black and white. Pretty cool.
Fit noir.
Now add a cool other color visual effect. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Editor Charleton. You're okay this time.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Good work. So clarity. There's a foggy haze in this song, and it's so funny that it's clear yet not clear. It's because Jesus, but not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to give it a lower score just because I feel like the clear part is you're Christians, you believe that kind of message, not the. The song had the beautiful opportunity to talk about the whispers in the dark, about how God's voice cuts through all of our darkness and sin. I feel like there was, if I were to re-choreograph this, I would probably show a point where all the demons are collectively around a person, and that God speaks, and that there's this beam of I had this picture of this beam of light, this words coming through, and that everything melts away, and that you hear His voice. That's what I would do with it.
Yeah, maybe when it says whispers in the dark, everything goes slow motion, everybody goes down, and there's Jesus pointing out to the main,
right?
And then everything goes chaotic once again, and then
Right.
banging
I feel like you
emphasized
can. I
moment.
feel like we can make it a banger in that way.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I think so. There's some really cool. There's missed opportunities for some really cool style that you could add based on the whispers in the dark motif.
Yeah. So clarity, I have to get like. Is it too low? I feel like it's a 2.
Really?
Like, I don't know, but it's a simple message, and so as our metrics would say, giving it a 3 or 4 just feels wrong because it's
Well, because
simple.
so
It's like because Jesus.
the thing that gets me with this song, which
I'm gonna give it a 3. I feel like this is
you're
fair.
gonna give it a 3.
I'm
Okay.
gonna give it a 3.
The thing that gets me with this song is like you understand the message, and we talk about our litmus test. If you didn't have the lyrics, I feel like the lyrics aren't even relevant. To
No,
the
it's
song.
not
And
relevant.
so you would get the same message, lyrics are not.
Yeah.
But you come away understanding the message, even though the message is a little weird and a little simple.
Yeah.
So you still get it, which is why I'd honestly go like a 5.
Okay.
So the reason I'm going with that is I feel like you understand the message, though the message is simple, and though the message it could be
It's
clear and
fine.
it's not nuanced. So I give it a 5.
All right. Difficulty. This song's. I mean, I've never done it. Only watched it. It's really fast.
There's a lot of energy.
So you have to keep the minute energy up. You have to get your cues on time. You have to get your Satan and demon and angel capes on and off over and over again.
Mhm.
I feel like it's a relatively difficult song to pull off well, especially if you're trying to up this clarity and style thing. So I'm gonna give it like a 6. It's not the craziest song, but I feel like it'd take some work to get it right.
Yeah, no, I'm somewhere roughly with you. You got the demon technique needs to be good, high energy. A lot of like the staging and stuff like that is structured in really particular ways. I think you could add some more characterization to some of the characters, and the emotional intensity of things. I feel like gets bumped up, so you need some high. Like a lot of stuff goes into this.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff.
Last song, Good to Be Alive, not a whole lot going on. This one, it got all the stuff.
It took all the stuff from that one and put it into this.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm think we're gonna go 7.
Okay. And then style. Sadly, this is my lowest score, I think, because I see some good energy, good acting, love that. Just it's a very generic song. There's demons, there's the cross, there's stuff. So I'm gonna give it a 2.
Wow. I mean,
I just don't see.
I
don't
agree.
See, I see tropes of previous songs like the In the Light motif. I see,
Yeah, no, I see. Like, there's tons of tropes that are reused here. Absolutely. We talk about breaking bounds. Honestly, not a whole lot of bounds are broken. It does some weird things of like throwing in the crucifixion scene. Kind of feels random. So there are some things to that. Now, I do give it some credit with it has some really good like pictures, some good staging. Whoever choreographed this song was really good with stage blocking.
I would agree.
Like I don't know who that is, but I want them to choreograph
Someone in Ames, Delaware, potentially.
Yeah, get somebody to have an idea and some things of what they want to do, and then put that person on the blocking. That's what I would say.
I can totally see that. That's very fair.
Yeah, and so for that style, I'm giving. I was thinking either 3 or 4. I'm just gonna go higher just to spite you. I'm gonna go with a 4.
That's fair.
Yeah.
If you know who choreographed this, tell us down below. We have no idea. This is like the only video we got of this thing, but
yeah,
you can check online and YouTube if you really want more Skillet songs. We'll come back next week because we're gonna do another one actually.
Yep, because it is Skillet's November.
I hope you can handle all of the noise from next week.
Because we're in America. Anyways,
I'm Samuel.
and I'm Charleton.
Breaking the line.